We have covered all of your comments and warnings about this process, and I think we're all really eager to understand what is happening and what else can be done to make sure that it doesn't become part of this really toxic stream of disinformation.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you characterize this as alarming, because that's exactly what it is. It is simply designed to continue promoting the big lie that the election in 2020 was stolen. We know that that is not the case. We know that this was the most secure and historically participated in election that we've had. And so this is nothing more than a fishing expedition designed to continue to undermine voters' confidence in our democratic institutions.
And, Madam Secretary, the election officials on both sides of the aisle have this view, your view. This is a statement from Gabe Sterling, who was one of the first Republicans to sound the alarm about the danger to violence that Donald Trump's lies about fraud would cause. And this is what he tweeted. Quote, "This audit in Arizona is another step in undermining confidence in elections. This process is neither transparent nor likely legal. Any findings will be highly suspect now that chain of custody has been violated by partisan actors." How did we get to this point where this rather dodgy firm has their hands on 2.1 million ballots?
Well, that's a really great question, and I don't exactly know, because when the subpoena was issued and subsequently ruled valid by a judge, the Senate didn't have a firm in place to conduct these exercises that we're seeing now. And so they have not been transparent or forthcoming about the process they used to select this firm. And we did find out that they did receive some bids. Cyber Ninjas was not among the firms that bid. And I want to make it really clear, this firm is not an auditing firm, and they are not an election firm. And so they don't have any expertise in what it is that they're doing right now. And that is very, very concerning.
Madam Secretary, I want to read from the Brennan Center a little bit more about this firm and who their associates are. And I want to ask you, if I read this, if you think that your constituents had this information or know that these are the kinds of folks handling their ballots and their votes. This is from Vice News. They report that Lin Wood, the QAnon conspiracy theorist lawyer, helped raise money to pay for the audit and told Talking Points Memo last week that he hosted Cyber Ninja CEO Doug Logan at his house as Logan was working on the investigation into election fraud. Logan also posted on his since deactivated Twitter account promoting the Stop the Steal conspiracy and saying he wholeheartedly supports Trump, but denied his personal views that the election was stolen had anything to do with his audit attempting to prove the election was stolen. So Lin Wood was peddling the kinds of lies that have led to multi-billion-dollar lawsuits against some of the propagandists who claimed that the machines were rigged and other fraud had ensued. And now he is backing, financially at least, and politically, the person who has in his hands the ballots of Arizonans. And I wonder if there's any bipartisan sort of concern growing about the kind of people involved in an audit. And can you just also remind our viewers that it was the Republican Governor Ducey, who certified the count?
Right. Our count was certified by both the Republican governor, the Republican attorney general, and the Republican chief justice of the Supreme Court. My office is hearing every day from constituents across Arizona, both sides of the aisle, that are extremely concerned about the lack of qualifications of this firm and the clear bias that the folks involved with this process are bringing into the process. It's really clear that this is not an independent audit designed to make sure the system's working the way they're supposed to. This is a fishing expedition led by partisans with an agenda to continue to undermine the election from 2020.
I've read a lot of the local reporting about what the climate was like when this subpoena was pushed, and there were threats of violence. There was extra security at people's homes. I wonder, has that tamped down? Do you feel safe?
Well, yeah, there was in particular a Republican legislator who voted against sanctioning the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors over this subpoena. He was targeted and threatened the same way that myself and other folks were following the election. That had died down a little bit. It is certainly ramping up again with this process in place, and we are certainly on high alert in my office.
What are the scenarios for how this ends, Madam Secretary?
You know, I wish I knew the answer to that. I don't think it ends well. You know, these folks are on a fishing expedition. We know that through all of the audits that have already been conducted, legitimate, independent audits of the election results that were all, you know, clear in terms of the results, that this election was free of fraud. And this exercise is designed to just refute that and continue to promote the big lie. And so whatever their findings are, I think they're going to continue to utilize this process to promote the big lie. And if they're successful here, they're moving on to other states. I guarantee that.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.